Hi, everyone. On today's More Than Words, the one and only Lloyd Kaufman from Troma Entertainment. Hi, Lloyd. Thank you so much for being here in More Than Words with me today. How are you?
Well, I don't have more than words. I'm so happy to be with Monica in Portugal, our favorite country. But
Thank you.
my wife and I, the commissioner and I, had our honeymoon there in
I know.
1974, and
Uh,
we missed it. We can't travel. We can't go anywhere. I did go to Bulgaria to
oh,
be a part of the. They're remaking the Toxic Avenger with the $1 billion huge budget, and the director wanted to put me in a cameo. But I did something on those long airplanes. I did something to my back, that this excruciating pain. So if
that's too
any of
bad.
you people out there have some good opioids, send them my way. No, no, no. Bad joke. Sorry.
I hope I
Very
hope
bad.
you feel better soon.
Well, thank you,
So
Monica. I hope you never
you're
have
welcome.
this back situation that I have. It is truly, it's really horrible.
I can only imagine.
The
So I
only
hope
thing
you
worse is
feel
making
better
a
soon.
Troma movie.
So
After hashtag Shakespeare's shitstorm,
yeah,
uh,
we'll talk about
and
that in a minute. Yeah. So
we filmed for maybe 8 weeks. I had vertigo, like the Alfred Hitchcock movie. The day
yeah.
after that, I wake up and the room is, and I had nothing to drink, so it wasn't hangover, but I had 3 days of Alfred Hitchcock's vertigo.
Oh, that's
Very
curious.
stressful.
Yeah. So about Trauma Entertainment, you're close to celebrating your 50th anniversary. Is this what you envision yourself doing at the age of 75?
It's also the commissioner and my 48th wedding anniversary coming up,
Yeah.
same as Troma. So
Hmm.
I didn't quite picture this, no, but I often picture much worse. So I think I've been very lucky. Whatever we've done, I've been able to make movies in which I can express my heart, my soul, my brain. I've been able to, with my beautiful commissioner, we put the kids through good schools, and they aren't in jail yet. We kind of, and Troma's still around. We're still,
Yeah.
they're making a big budget movie of Toxic Avenger, which was a movie that nobody wanted to book. We couldn't get one theater back in 1984, whenever. Nothing. Then it took a year for it to catch on. And now it's going to be a movie with Peter, whatever his name is. Finker, what's it? The little guy from.
Peter Dinklage?
Yes, Peter Dinklage. He
Yeah, from Game of
stars.
Thrones. Yeah.
Yeah, he's starring as Toxie, and then we have Kevin Bacon. Oh, and then I lost you. And then we have
No, I
Kevin.
can see. I can see
Oh,
you.
good, but I can't see you. But you're more beautiful than I.
Thank you.
Come back, please. Ah, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, if you do want to disappear, I don't blame you. Most people
Yeah.
don't.
Once in a while, just so we can see you better. Yeah.
Well, most
So you
people
were
don't want to
saying
be
about
associated with
Peter
me.
Dinklage. Yeah.
Huh?
You were saying about Peter Dinklage.
Yes, and I was also saying I can understand if you want to remove yourself from being next
Yeah.
door to me, because you would not be alone. Most people don't want to come anywhere near me. But anyway,
Wow.
Dinklage stars. We've got Macon Blair, a very talented young director. He
Hmm.
gave me a cameo. I can't tell you what I had to do to get that cameo. We've got Taylor Page, who stars in Zola. We've got your friend, what's his name? Elijah Wood.
Oh yeah.
So you got Wood, and or the director's got Wood, and then the amazing Kevin Bacon. So
Wow.
the director
That's a good
Macon has
cast.
brought home the bacon. And now, when you talk, do you know about 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon? Do you know that game?
Yeah, I think I do. Yeah, I've heard about it.
Everybody has some. Everyone in the world is 6 degree, and
Yeah,
now
exactly.
I'm
Yeah, yeah.
the, I was already three. My daughter said on the bacon
Really.
website. But now,
Okay.
now I got to be a number one. I must be first degree, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that's where I screwed up my back on the airplane coming back.
Okay. Okay. So how was it to do the Shakespeare shitstorm in the middle of a pandemic?
No, we didn't do it in the middle of the pandemic. We
None of
finished it
it? Okay.
just on time with the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
So we've been sending it to the movie festivals. So now, if there are any festivals who wish to play hashtag Shakespeare Shitstorm, now is the time to contact us. We are starting to book some movie theaters for the November, December,
Okay.
when the kids are back from, when
From
things are
vacation.
smoother. But
Mm-hmm.
still, we still have problems here in New York.
Yeah, here
People
too.
still
I think
dying.
it's not over or not even close to being over. So we hear.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
so
So in Shakespeare shitstorm, you direct, but you also act. So how did it
hashtag,
go?
excuse me, it's hashtag
Oh,
Shakespeare.
hashtag Shakespeare
Very
shitstorm. I'm
important.
sorry.
It's part of the statement. It's part of the statement of the movie because the movie
Oh,
is about the Twitter hate and the crazy internet world we live in. So the hashtag is
it's
symbolic
important.
of what
Okay.
what the movie is about.
So how did it go for you to direct and to act at the same time in the movie?
Well, we had a great team, and the commissioner retired from being the film commissioner, and she was one of the three producers. So she was great support and advisor, and tried to stop me from being too crazy. And we had a wonderful associate director, Zach Amico, who is in Return to Newcomb High and Return to Newcomb High. So he also acts in the movie. And we had a director of camera from Denmark. We had an art director from Japan. Everybody involved were fans, so they really cared about the movie, and they got paid, maybe 10% of what they usually get paid.
Okay.
They wanted to have fun on a Troma set and be able to go far out and not have to compromise on anything. So many of the craziness comes from improvisation that the people on the crew and production staff suggested. Doug Sackman, who was the chief of special effects, who was my assistant 20 years ago, he he did a great job, and also brought in some surprises that were not on the menu. So we had a very chaotic,
Yeah.
I'd say 7 or 8 weeks of filming,
Nice.
and we filmed in Albania.
Oh, really? In Albania?
Albania was great. We needed a big ship. They
Mm-hmm.
gave us a Navy Coast Guard ship. We
Awesome.
needed, we needed the ship. But in the Americas, all we could find was 10,000 a day, and in Portugal we got it for a package deal, great deal, and also the production company made the CGI, and they did a great job. And after Troma was the first Western movie studio to film in Albania, now there are big companies coming. We only have $500,000 for a movie. They're bringing $5 and $10 million now to Albania because we made it out safely and successfully. The mainstream, they don't want to take any chances.
No, that's
So
nice.
that's how
To know.
Troma got such a good deal, because we're kind of famous in the industry, and the other producers can look at us, and if we have a success there, they will come in. And we had
Sure.
and Albania gave us a great deal. So
No, that's good. Oh,
we might have had a problem, but I didn't think so. Really, they have a studio there.
sure, sure. Is it true that you thought about John Voight to be the
Yeah.
leading actor in the movie?
Yes, I offered it to him. I offered John Voight Prospero, and he told me I should. No, Lloyd, you play Prospero.
Every time I think of John Voight, I immediately go to the Champ, the movie.
Yes,
Uh, I
yes.
love that movie.
Well,
And
he's a great man, great
great
guy.
actor, yeah.
and a decent man, you know, idealistic. He believes in certain things. He's not correct in many of them, but he's sincere and he's idealistic in his way. And look at his career. My God. How
you know,
many
I've
Oscars?
recently seen him in Ray Donovan, the TV
Yeah,
series, and I love this part. Yeah, it was amazing.
he's a great guy, no question about it, and well educated, and
So
you know.
he said you act in the movie, so and you did.
Yes,
So
I'm glad I did, because I don't think any old man would have been able to. I think we would have killed off one or two old men who tried to play the part, or they would have quit in the middle. When
maybe
have you
they
seen it, Tony? Have
no,
you
I
seen,
haven't, not yet.
oh, email me. I'll send you a private link.
Of course, thank you.
And
Thank you so
Fernando
much.
has it too. I think Fernando has it. I hope.
Fernando Well, that's the one we're
Yeah,
talking
he should.
about.
You and
Yeah.
Pedro, I think, have a link. But
Yeah.
email me and I'll send it to you in case
Okay, thank
I
you. Thank
forgot
you
to
so
send
much.
it.
No problem. Where can people see the movie? Is it through Troma Now, your platform, your
No.
streaming platform? Not yet.
We have two brand new movies that are on Troma Now. The Slashing, the Final Beginning, which opened in New York 2 weeks ago at one theater, and played in Los Angeles at one theater, and is going theater by theater. But it's on Troma Now, along with some excellent classics. Maniac Cop and Frankenhooker will be exclusive there. We've got,
you have thousands more, right? You have a lot of your catalog.
yes. Oh, yeah. There's 1,000 movies there, including Mutant Blast,
Yeah, Mutant Blast, the
including
Portuguese
Return to
movie.
Nukem High and Return to Nukem High. Yes, and also now, thank you for reminding me. But Troma Now has an app. You can get there from Roku and Google and Apple TV, and there's another one.
Very easy to reach, and people can for sure look for it online and go see Troma Now for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, Troma Now is great. I watch it. It's got because we have new movies that I've never seen that we've signed up every month, and they're really terrific young new directors like Fernando. I'm convinced that Fernando will be another James Gunn, and also Mercedes the Muse has just finished her feminist movie called Divide and Conquer. And she's terrific. That will go and try to get theaters and festivals.
You have a lot going on, and you have a lot of content that people can look for in Troma Now.
Huge amount. I mean, 1,000 movies, shorts, music videos. You can buy collections of photographs of some of the beautiful Tromettes, and you can meet people. People have gotten dates on Troma Now.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know about that. How's that going?
You just, well, I haven't, I'm married, but I've been told
Yeah,
by
but what you've been
fans that
told about, yeah.
they've met people through the messages, and that going out together. So that's nice.
Troma fans getting together. That's really
Yeah.
nice.
Well, you know, the Troma fans, they love movies and they know a lot about movies, and they're not rich, but they're very wise. They follow the news, and they think for themselves. And so when they meet another one, you know, it's kind of a big family, really. It's cult movie studio.
Yes, no doubt about that. Sure. Going back a big while in your life, what do you remember most about the times you were studying in Yale, were having Oliver Stone and George W. Bush as your colleagues?
Well, Oliver Stone, I grew up with from the time we were about 8 years old, and our parents became best friends. And my father donated money to Trinity School in New York in the name of Oliver's father when Oliver's father pooped. And he and I worked together until actually he never thought about making movies. He was trying to write a crappy novel at Yale, and I was making movies, and he sort of hung out. And then his novel was just you'd vomit. It was so, he was trying to be James Joyce, horrible. So he helped me with my early movies, and then we produced Sugar Cookies together. He's in one of our one of my first movies, Battle of Love's Return. Oliver has a cameo, and he worked on that. And then he was a producer on Sugar Cookies with Len Lowry and Monique Van Voren, and a low-budget movie. And then Oliver, he'll talk to me about joining him in a company together, but he's a lunatic. He's too rough, so I declined. And stupid me, he proved to be extremely talented, and I love him.
Yeah.
I love his movies, but I don't want to spend time with him.
Okay. So you were studying Chinese studies, was that right?
Yeah, I was.
What attracted you to that kind of thematics of subject?
That's a good question. First of all, regarding George Bush, the only thing I remember was he used to go around the Yale campus looking for weapons of mass destruction, and I never understood that.
Now
but
you do.
I give him a massage every so often. We take a bath together, and he just was concerned about the future. As for my Chinese, I went to a very strict high school, all boys, kind of not boarding school, but a Latin school where it was very serious and great. I learned a hell of a lot, and I did, and in a good way. I also had 12 years of being totally in fear of my life for 12 years, so sort of up and down. At any rate, I had only a European and American history. I didn't really have anything about China or Africa. And, in my day, I'm 75 years old, it was considered kind of the proper thing of being a human to take part in the actions and passions of your times. That's Oliver Wendell Holmes, great Supreme Court Justice, as well as to broaden your horizons and not just go money, 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 but learn about things, read poetry. You don't have to, everything you do doesn't have to be money making. So I spent a year in Chad, Africa, with no electricity. And
that's where you have collaborated with the Peace Corps at the time?
Yes, I was a pathfinder, a guinea pig. Yeah. I tested the area I was in for the Peace Corps, for an AID, the American International Development Aid. They paid me once a month, and the Chad government paid me, and it was like $20 a month. But
so at that time, you wanted to be a social worker, right?
Well, when I went into Yale, I was thinking teaching because my teachers were real heroes, or maybe social work, teach people with hooks for hands how to finger paint, stuff like that, peace and love and all that. So I wanted to have a really good liberal education. So I spent a year in Chad, and by the way, no electricity, no running water. The women running around naked, so it's like 24-hour Troma movie.
Their culture, yeah.
It was like a Troma movie. It was great. Yeah. There were other aspects that I incorporated into my oeuvre.
You liked the experience of being there for a year.
Yeah, it was wonderful. After living in Manhattan on a block of cement all my life, and then going to Yale, which is wearing ties every day, tie and jacket, and sure. Kind of a corny, to me, a
very different experience for sure.
Yeah, kind of stupid. I thought Yale was stupid. But I wanted to get a good education and know something about the 3 billion people living in China and the billion people living in Africa, or ever how many. I wanted to at least have some sense of their DNA, and I think it's very worthwhile, no question about it. So I would advise any young person. In fact, I think the American government should make it a law that every young person must donate a year in some way to their government. Either go in the army.
That would be interesting for sure.
Yeah, it'd be interesting and help our country. Let's say, we have all these guys who want to shoot up their schools. Well, hey, I got the solution. You join the army, and you can go, send you to Afghanistan. You can have a good time. or if you're interested in helping the Indians, yeah, go ahead and help them and stop the oil companies from destroying their sacred land.
You know, do something
it's the same.
useful,
Everyone
at least for a
should be
year,
here.
right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, what are you going to do? I'm just
Yeah.
a fat old.
So from that to dedicating your life to movies and to cinema, I know you met someone in Yale that influenced you a lot, right?
Oh my gosh. Fate, freshman year, put me in a room, a very small bedroom, with a movie nut who ran the Yale Film Society, Robert Edelstein. And we're friends to this day. We meet once a year or so to have lunch. And he was running the Yale Film Society. So I started to drift in and, kind of trolling for dates, some beautiful boys. And I kept getting blown away by all these wonderful movies. And they did not show Manuel Oliveira's. I regret to say we didn't know about him. I learned about him later after we had a honeymoon in Portugal.
Yeah.
But and I've seen some wonderful films by him. At any rate, I see Fritz Lang, I see John Ford, Howard Hawks, Jean Renoir, Fritz Lang.
You were reading the Cahiers of Cinema at that time, right?
Yes, I speak French, being a entitled bourgeois, and I learned very young, which is also what we did in the good old days.
Yeah, and that was useful for that experience to start reading that about the movies and having the influence of other directors.
Yeah, absolutely. And unfortunately, it convinced me to stay in New York and make independent movies and be an auteur filmmaker. And, at the age of 19 or 20 or whatever, you think about, nothing what can possibly go wrong? What can go wrong?
Yeah.
So I had a choice of either working in Los Angeles on a Barbra Streisand movie or working for a crappy little independent company in New York. And I took acid, LSD, and that night, while the LSD was working, I decided to go into the small, crappy company. And that was, I'm happy I did it because I met John G.
The rest of your life, yeah.
Yeah, John G. Allison, who was a great guy. We lost him, unfortunately, but we did dedicate a Troma movie to John G. Allison, who directed Cry Uncle, which, if you want to see a great movie, Cry Uncle is hilarious. Absolutely brilliant movie, a satire of film noir, a wonderful satire. At any rate, he was a big influence on me, and you can see me in Rocky. He put me in 2 or 3 of his movies. And by the way,
you talk about John G. Allison, and I immediately go to Rocky and Karate Kid. Those are my favorites. So
aren't they great? Aren't they wonderful? And I think all John Allison's movies were really good. Check out My Uncle. It's like a Troma movie, except that it's more sophisticated. It's wonderful. So and the guy who wrote it, huh?
How was it for you to work with him in Rocky?
I was very nervous because we were producing the line producing the Philadelphia part of it, and Burgess Meredith, Stallone, he was unknown, but he wrote the script. Avildsen, and the 2 big directors were coming out, Chardoff and Winkler, and I had to find all the locations and get background people and find cheap places. We shot it like a Troma movie, and in fact, the crew that shot Cry Uncle with a few that Avildsen put on Joe and Cry Uncle, as well as some Troma people, did this non-union. All the Philadelphia, nobody knew it either. We were there shooting for 8 days, all Troma style, and then on the 8th or 9th day, the truck driver union found us. And they're very tough in those days. And the producer said, "Let's go back to L.A." And but they had 8 days of amazing. Well, how famous Rocky going up the stairs, all that stuff.
Yeah, of course, that's classic scene.
Yeah, the Troma team and Michael Hers and his beautiful wife, Maris, were syncing up the dailies every day on our 50-year-old Moviola editing machine, 35 millimeter, and they had no idea what this was. They hadn't read the script, and that when they heard Stallone talking, they were like, "What the hell? What is this?" But my mother-in-law, the commissioner's mother, knew that Rocky would be an enormous hit. And Pat, the commissioner, by the way, brought the Turtles from New York on the train, illegally crossing state lines, and to bring the Turtles to Philadelphia because they have been outlawed in certain men. Now they're totally outlawed. Those little turtles, Cuff and Link, in his movie, Stallone still has them. They're now 40 years old and they're big. He put a picture on Instagram, or somebody sent it to me. Yeah, very interesting.
That's really interesting to know. And at the time you worked with Stallone and Rocky, you also worked in Saturday Night Fever with John Travolta, right? How was it? Did you like working with him?
I hated that job, but Travolta is a great guy. The director, Avildsen, started it and then got fired. And John and I, who was a lowly location manager, I went to the boss, Robert Stigwood. I sent him a telegram. We had telegrams in those days. I said, "It's an emergency. I have to meet with you." Again, I was very young. And Stigwood's a major guy. He's got a record company. He manages the Bee Gees. I think he's dead now, but at the time he was way up there. Grease, all these things are his. At any rate, I sent him a telegram, and he's nice enough to have me come up to his big penthouse, sprawling $100 million apartment in New York. And I told him, "Hey, John is a genius. I've worked with him since Joe. He just, he fights for what he believes in. You mustn't get rid of him. He's guarantee you can make a great movie. Look at the script." Avildsen hired the screenplay writer, who was the same guy who wrote Joe, Norman Wexler. And the script was indeed brilliant. And Stigwood, he just, no, we already have a replacement. Sorry, go back to work. So I spoke to Avildsen. Avildsen said, "Hey, if you're learning something, stay on it." So indeed, I was learning, and I was learning about hell. And then John Badham came on, who great guy, also went to Yale, and about 10 years older than I. And I could see that he loved cinema, and that he was going to be he was going to make a good movie, which he did. He did. He made a great one. Lucky me. I had my film school was two classic, iconic, legendary American movies: Saturday Night Fever, in which I have a cameo, and Rocky, in which I have a cameo.
You have lots of cameos, fortunately, during your career.
Well, also, I filmed behind the scenes for Rocky. Nobody did that, but I had my Super 8 camera. So I found, I didn't find it, but a guy who works for us, they go, the people who work for us are fans, and they go in our basement at Troma building, and they look through to see what they can find. And they found, this guy found Super 8 footage of Stallone and Burgess Meredith, from 1977, whatever it was. And so I sent it out to Avildsen, and he cut it down to about 15 minutes. And then he and I wrote a script, and we recorded it together, and it's on the box set, the Blu-ray box set of the 4 Rocky movies.
Yeah, that's a very special content for sure for all the fans of Rocky.
I mean, really, imagine if somebody had behind the scenes of Gone with the Wind or Manuel Oliveira's movies.
Yeah, sure.
Probably
there's some material hidden someplace. Maybe we'll never know. Sometimes directors keep their own records of stuff, or they have someone in their team who does some footage, and maybe only a few years later they'll find about that. Let's see what happens.
Back in the day, film was very expensive. Most directors, I don't think, did do it. Avildsen did do it. I'm sure he has many rolls of Super 8 film that he shot, and video later on. And we at Troma, we do the same. But We've always done that with Super 8 and filming the rehearsals, all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I
nice.
don't think people did it until it became inexpensive.
Well,
I
maybe,
don't know.
probably. Yeah, probably.
I really don't know.
Lloyd,
And
I was curious about a part of your career in the 70s when you spent some time doing adult movies. What made you change the kind of movie you were doing? Why did you give up the adult industry?
because, like the mainstream, we were excluded.
Oh,
We were accused. They constantly accused us. They definitely treated us very poorly, and
okay.
they had no interest in making stories. That there was a brief period where scripts were being written and 35 millimeter, and okay, so I learned a lot on the camera and all that stuff. But then, we had to move upward. We had to do something more ambitious. Because to have a movie stop for 5 minutes, although I'm watching stuff on Netflix now that's basically porno. This Sally Forever. I mean, it's
I don't
pretty.
know that one. Yeah,
Oh, it's hilarious. It's very funny.
we don't have the same content on Netflix in Portugal or that in the States. It's different
Well, boy,
content.
they and Amazon they remove our movies, but their own movies are. Anyway,
Yeah. Okay.
it was not. The people in the industry didn't want to make good movies. And now it's horrible. Who wouldn't? Ugh, terrible.
Okay. So.
At least it's a way for women to make money.
Mhm.
Because women are second-class citizens. They get paid less. If I were an attractive woman with a child, I think I might do porn rather than work for less than $15 an hour in McDonald's. I can make 200, 300 an hour. I don't know how much it is now. Maybe it's 1,000. Who knows? But women are discriminated against. The
Yeah,
governor of the state of New York, Andrew Cuomo, you know him?
just by name, of course, and so watching him on TV.
He just resigned. He
Yeah.
just resigned because he was a Cuomo-sexual.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear about that, but I
No,
heard that
it's a
a
joke.
woman
It's an English.
would take his place, right?
What's that?
I heard that a woman would take his place.
Yeah, she
Now,
sounds great. She sounds
mhm.
perfect. No, what I said was Cuomo-sexual, not homosexual.
Yeah,
Cuomo.
homosexual.
So
Yeah.
kind of wordplay, but sorry.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. So, how did you experience in the first person being an American and a New Yorker? How did you experience that administration change from Trump to Biden? What did change?
Well, my opinion of Biden changed. I
Really?
mean, I never vote for Trump. I vote for Green Party or
Mm-hmm.
there was somebody else running. I knew I voted for the Green Party, but I figured Biden was just a full of shit. But it turns out he's an old guy who seems to really want to do what's right and invest in the future. And he's not. I don't think he's at all worried about getting reelected. I think he wants to
Mm-hmm.
be a hero, and he didn't run on this. He ran on being center and normal and corrupt. Basically,
Yeah.
he's corrupt. But now I think he really wants to improve the country
Mm-hmm.
because we as a country, as far as education goes, we're I think in the bottom 12 of civilized countries, and our death of women who give birth is like 8th or 9th after
Mm-hmm.
San Salvador, or I don't know. But I mean, we're becoming a third world country, and
Did
I think
you
the
notice?
roads, everything's terrible here, right?
Yeah.
And
Did you notice any change related to a culture area or movie industry since the change?
the movie industry gets more and more consolidated.
Mm-hmm.
They have lobbyists who get rid of any hint of anti-monopoly law. So we only have a few mega conglomerates, and that's it. And Troma,
Mm-hmm.
basically.
Yeah.
And we are excluded. We are blacklisted economically. They'll eventually drive us out of business because the Vice is closing. The Cannes Film Festival, Cannes Film Festival, huh?
You're the longest running independent studio in North America, right?
In history. I don't know of any studio that's with the same management and they keep making movies after 48 years. Right?
And you came a long way, and you still have your public, so I think everything.
Well, thank heavens. You're right. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you, our fans in Portugal, for supporting Mutant Blast, because it went in 15 theaters, and second week, 13 theaters. So congratulations to Fernando. And I hope maybe Portugal can distribute another Troma movie, maybe hashtag Shakespeare Shitstorm.
Let's see about that. So about Mutant Blast, Portuguese movie, zombie slash satire and with a message, right? Movie directed by Fernando Al. So how did you come across this movie in particular?
Well, Fernando worked for us. Our crews are usually made up of fans. Return to Nukem High, and then the second half of the movie, Return to Nukem High. It's actually two movies. Fernando came, he paid his airplane, he slept on the floor, and he made special effects. We had people from France, Germany, England, Japan, Australia, all over the world, and we all lived in a funeral home. Fernando can tell you about it. Anyway, after he worked for us, and he was a good guy, he said he was writing a script that would be a Troma script in the artistic manner of a Troma movie. And I read the script. It was great. I gave him some notes, most of which he rejected, because I believe this, auteur theory. So it's his movie. I mean, he accepted some of the notes, but he's a true artist, and he made a wonderful film. I've seen it with an audience; they love it. They love it. I mean, it's hilarious. It's just a matter of. We did open it in a theater recently in New York, and we're trying to. But it's Portuguese language, which I knew going in was going to be tough on the illiterate American audiences who can barely speak English.
You have the subtitles, and it's getting easier to read them, right?
Yeah, thanks to the mediocre Korean movie that won Best Movie in the Academy Awards. And I think that opened the door to subtitles. But I swear, Mutant Blast is so much better than than so many movies and series I have seen on Netflix and Amazon. But they don't want to give us any money. And why should we give it to them for almost chicken feed? Yeah. Why? It'd be better just to keep it and try to wait for better times. And Troma Now is we have the app. It's growing, so maybe we don't need the fans. Luckily, our secret weapon are people like you and people around the world who love Troma and are willing to try to find our movies when they open or come fast to the theater. Because sometimes it's only one night or one weekend or one performance.
Speaking of which, Troma fans, I recently saw an interview you had with James Mullinger, the comedian, and I noticed that he practically has a museum of Troma stuff at his house. Is by people like him, fans of Troma and collectors of Troma related materials that you keep going on? Is it very inspiring for you?
Oh, I'm so grateful. You bet. It's extremely inspiring. It's better than an Oscar because it's love. You can't buy that. You cannot buy word of mouth. It's impossible, no matter how much you spend. If James Gunn's Suicide Squad or Suicide Squad, if it was like the first Suicide Squad, they spend $200 million, they're going to lose everything. But he made a brilliant movie, and they're going to make billions of dollars.
You have a cameo in that movie.
Yeah, that's better than an Oscar, right? James loves me as a friend. You can't buy that. You're right. And if you look at my IMDb, I'm in quite a number of films by well-known directors, as well as by many, many, many beginning directors, and
Yeah.
it helps
And
them. If I'm in a movie, they can sell the DVD at least to Troma fans.
yeah, about the Suicide Squad. In one of your scenes, you share the screen with a Portuguese actress who's also in the movie, Daniela Melchior. So Portuguese talent all over the place, including in Suicide Squad.
Yes, I met her
Yeah,
on the set, and she's beautiful. And she and Anna, the star of Mutant Blast,
Maria Light.
Maria.
Yes.
Finally,
Yeah.
sorry, I'm very old.
Yeah.
She and Maria are buddies, and
Oh,
so we
okay.
had a nice, quick chat about.
Hmm.
I mentioned she should meet Fernando and Pedro.
Yeah.
Anytime I meet somebody, I talk, from Portugal. I always
Yeah.
suggest that they
Fits
talk to
fits in
Fernando.
together. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's very Melchior is very, very good, very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
It
Great.
was really interesting because I saw a picture and you were in the same frame as she was with John Cena.
Yeah,
And
that's
I
right.
haven't seen the movie yet. I still
Oh,
have that to watch. Yeah.
you'll have
Uh,
a good time. You want to say
yeah.
hello? My wife is here, and she looks magnificent. You- She looks
Say
like
hi.
Catherine Deneuve. Come and sit down. I've been.
Just a second, I'm starting to cook.
I've-
with that.
It's
That's
just water.
okay.
I've been talking to the either that or I peed, one or the other.
Hi,
Uh,
Pat.
Yay.
This is Monica. We are talking to Monica in Portugal.
Oh, hi.
I don't
Hi,
see
how are
you.
you? Nice to meet you.
Come in. You're coming closer.
Well, I'm just
Hi.
staying for a second. I got to make dinner.
All right, but I talked about the commissioner and Shakespeare's Shitstorm and how great you did such a good job.
Thank you. And boy, do we love Portugal.
Yes,
Yeah, I
it's
know.
our
What do
favorite
you,
country.
Yeah, I've been there.
what do,
I have now been there many times just in the last few years.
yeah, of course. What do you remember most from your honeymoon in Portugal?
Uh, it was such a crazy honeymoon.
I think Obidos will be
Yeah,
with us.
yeah,
Obidos will be with us forever.
yeah. We really had a wonderful time. It was great.
Yeah, and nobody knew about Portugal.
Yeah.
Now we go and it's huge crowds and
Yeah, it was a very different country at that time. We
Yeah.
had a
Oh, yeah.
recent
We had a wonderful
regime change. Yeah.
We had a great time.
oh, and the students were so happy. They were giving us
Yeah, I think
carnations.
that's what to me was so
Carnations,
extremely
yeah.
special. Is that there we were just right after the
Mhm.
revolution. It was just so exciting.
Joyous. Yeah, they were
Yeah.
joyous.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
we
was
had
cool.
red carnations all over the place. Yeah.
Exactly. It was very cool. Anyway, I have to go make dinner. It's so nice
Okay.
to meet you.
Okay, Blue
Bye
Apron,
bye. Thank
Blue
you,
Apron,
Pat.
Bye.
the Blue Apron Trophy Wife. There's a
Yeah.
company called Blue Apron that is like subscription. They
Mm.
send you all the ingredients, so you don't have to shop. And then in about
Oh,
20
okay.
minutes, you have a real
You have
gourmet dinner. Like
Oh,
from
that's
a chef,
nice. Yeah.
designed
Okay.
by chefs. It's on the New York Stock Exchange. You can buy the
Mm.
stuff.
Yeah, okay. So Lloyd, I know that you had a Portuguese talent, another Portuguese talent related to your work at Troma in hashtag Shakespeare Shitstorm. Is that true? Felipe
Yes.
Melo? Yeah.
Manuel Oliveiras. No, bad joke. We were lucky because Felipe Melo, a wonderful jazz performer and composer, scored a hashtag Shakespeare Shitstorm with a full orchestra, no synthesizer, but a full orchestra. Did a beautiful, beautiful job. And so we have a lot of Portuguese spirit in our movies. And our head of the graphics department he just got married, and he and his husband have moved to Sintra.
Oh, yeah.
So there's subversive Troma in Sintra,
You're all over the place.
a seed of Troma planted.
Yeah, that's
All
nice
right.
to know that you have another Portuguese talent in you related to your work. Yeah,
Well, I
more to
hope
come
so.
in the future, hopefully.
I hope we can make another movie there.
So you have next to you Toxie.
Yes,
Right
Toxie's
there.
looking
Yeah.
over my shoulder.
Yeah, and so Toxie became your mascot because it was such a big success for Troma Entertainment. And I've watched it recently. I had a lot of fun.
Oh,
And I've rewatched Class of Nukem High as well.
oh,
And there's
thank
this a bit of trivia related to that movie because I didn't know that Clive Burr, he was a drummer for Iron Maiden, one of my favorite bands, and I didn't know that he worked in the movie. I thought that was really curious.
yeah. Just he liked. I think the people Lemmy worked for starting back in Romeo and Juliet, just because he liked the Troma movies. They somehow found us, and we've never had to pay any of these people who are in our movie. Stan Lee is in about 10 of our movies.
Yeah.
I was friends with him for 50 years, and he was a big influence. And we wrote scripts together. And when he died, we dedicated, I think Shakespeare's Shitstorm may be dedicated to Stan Lee and John G. Avildsen, among others.
To a lot of people that passed away recently, yes.
Yeah, well, Return to Nukem High was dedicated to Lemmy, and Return to Nukem High. One or the other was dedicated to Lemmy. Okay. Yeah, too bad. Yeah, sad. I'm getting old with losing, people.
Yeah, I know. So during all these years, you always advocated a lot about do it yourself movies. And you also have books on that. Which one of them would you advise to a young director, someone who wanted to make a movie now?
Well, there's a memoir that James Gunn and I wrote called All I Need to Know About Filmmaking I Learned from the Toxic Avenger. And I would suggest reading that. I know there's a Spanish version. It might be a Brazilian version in the works, which is in Portuguese. I don't know, but it's definitely in English.
People can read in English, so no problem with
that.
Yeah,
you get it from Amazon, because if you order from, Troma has a store, tromadirect.com, but tromadirect.com is shipping to Europe is too much, and then it gets stolen. So it's better to get from Amazon within the Euro thing.
Yeah,
but that's and then make your own damn movie. I think if you're interested in the basics, make your own damn movie. It's funny, and also has I think good practical advice. And also half of it is the Troma system, and half of it is other directors, some more mainstream and some more underground. And then we have Direct Your Own Damn Movie, where I interview people like James Gunn and Trey Parker, and and Produce Your Own Damn Movie, same thing. Half of it's the Troma system of producing. The other half, I have a Oscar-winning director of Crash, and then all the way down the food chain, and then Sell Your Own Damn Movie, and that's a great process. Yeah, that's the best one. Sell Your Own Damn Movie. I think again, these books were written quite a number of years ago, but they're very inspiring. And what these directors who I interviewed, like the woman who directed The Decline of Western Civilization, and the funny movie. Anyway, she's my age, and she was she made a huge. She had a couple of enormous hits. Wayne's World. She directed Wayne's World. Okay. So she talks about being a woman. Jenna Fisher, who directed something for us with James Gunn, that James Gunn wrote, that we direct, that we distribute. She talks about being a director and not wanting to do it again, that kind of stuff. Jenna Fisher is a big star was on The Office. It still is on The Office, I think, but she has a show of her own now. Okay. And was married to James Gunn.
Oh, okay. That's curious, yeah. So let's remind people that they can go to Troma Now, so they can access all the Troma most of the Troma catalog.
I think everything is there. If there isn't, we have so many movies that sometimes people have to remind us what's going on with this one. In some cases, you're right, though, we are digitizing some of the older ones so it can play in 4K or 5, whatever it is.
Sure. So if someone hasn't watched some of your classics, so they're there, and the first month is for free, and then you have a small fee, right?
Monthly fee of about €4, about €4, and
really good for a Troma fan. Yeah.
You can use your get the app in the App Store, Troma Now, and then go through Roku and Google, whatever the platforms are. Google.
Yeah, I have a lot of choices. No excuses to not go to Troma Now. And
yes, please. We need support. You got to you know,
Of course.
if you want Troma to continue. Our fans are our main support. You know, I don't like Kickstarter, and I don't like. We did it once, and I really did. I found it not elegant.
Lloyd, would you like to leave any message for your Troma fans?
Well, I would like to thank our Portuguese Troma fans for finding our movies. They're not easy to find. We have no distribution in Portugal. So please support Fernando Ale. We're the first, I think, the first American company to make a movie in Portugal that is in the Portuguese language. Very often they try to have the Portuguese actors mimicking English, and it never works unless they're fluent like Mónica is.
Thank you.
So please support, and you'll enjoy Mutant Blast on Troma Now. It's brilliant. It's great. Or buy the Blu-ray. And there's a Portuguese distributor. Go watch. You have to watch some movies. And Netflix, at least in my country, stinks. And everybody says Troma Now is better than Netflix. And you don't have to pay any extra. You just, first month is free. And you can see Mutant Blast, everything. Slashing, Feartown, USA, plus all the Troma classics like Toxic Avenger, and Tromeo and Juliet, and all the Troma's War, etc. And you'll find better movies, I think, on Troma Now than you will on Netflix. And new ones and old ones and future stars. And hopefully, you know, the fans in Portugal will find out about Troma Now, because I know they want to see it. I know they want to see our movies. So thank you very much to the public. And Mónica, thank you. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
What got you interested in Troma?
I first heard about Troma many years ago watching movies, because I'm a movie fan as well. And I watch a lot of movies and TV series and all that. But then I think that through Fernando L. and Pedro Barão Dias from Mutant Blast, those are the ones who told me about Troma, what you were doing now, the last few years. And that's what caught my attention, really.
Terrific. And have you made films yourself?
No, I haven't. I am a journalist and a TV producer, but not related to cinema, just TV. Yeah.
Well, perfect. So spread the word about hashtag Shakespeare Shitstorm and Troma Now.
We are redirecting everyone that's watching these episodes to Troma Now and your website,
Thank
and
you.
people
Thank
can
you
see all
very
the information. So thank you, Lloyd, for your time. And I hope that everything goes for the best in the next years that Troma still have, and celebrating your 50th anniversary.
Well, thank you, Mónica, and I hope that we can all meet someday after COVID and have a celebratory toast to you and 50 years of
You too.
Troma. I just hope I'm there.
Yeah, we'll all be here for sure. When there's Mutant Blast Part 2, we'll meet in Portugal.
Yeah, I'm ready for that.
Yeah, we're all ready for that. So
Wouldn't that
hopefully
be great?
it'll happen.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so
All
much
righty.
for
Well,
your time.
nice to meet you.
You too.